All right, today we're going to talk about subject and verb agreement for nouns and verbs. So we know that a subject of the sentence has to do with the noun that we're talking about. The subject is the noun, the person, place, thing, idea, or animal we're talking about. It must work together with the verb. Those two things have to go together. Now, we know that the word singular means one thing. If it's a singular subject, it needs to have a singular verb. That makes sense. And if it's a plural subject, or we're talking about more than one thing, then it needs to have a plural verb. That makes sense. Those things go together. Now, the way the rest of this journal page is going to go is a little bit tricky when we're on our computer. So as you're filling this out, you're going to have to kind of then go back and use the rules that you know for adding these to our interactive notebooks, because you're going to have to do some cutting and gluing. I'm going to actually go down and show you the second page that you have that are these 3 strips of paper. These are going to be glued underneath our 3 tabs. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down. We're going to talk first about singular subjects. So singular subjects. So I'm kind of looking right here right now. If the subject of a singular noun like he, she, or it, then we're going to add s or es to the end of most verbs. This would make sense. If I said he sings in the choir, well, that makes sense because I'm talking about him. So he, that's one person. If I need to say what he was doing, I would add an S to the end of sing. Now, I'm also going to use 2 different forms of be if it is a singular noun. I'm going to use is or am. Now, I also uses the singular form of be, but it'll use the plural form of other verbs, and we'll talk about that in a second. Now we have a few examples going on. We said a horse blank quickly. We could fill in several words here, but I'm going to use the word runs. You'll notice we followed the rule for adding the S to the end of a verb because we only had one horse. Now he is singular. I'm talking about one boy. We would use the form of be. He is happy. The last one, you could put a couple of different things, but there's really one that fits the best. For I, we're always going to say I am tired. Let's talk now about plural subjects. So this is where I'm at now, plural subjects. This tab I'm going to show you is going to be glued under the plural subjects tab. It says if the subject is plural, it's a plural noun, the word I, you, we, or they, we don't have to add any endings to the verb. We're also going to use the word are as our form of be. And now the word I doesn't use the plural form of be, it uses the singular form, and that's kind of what we talked about up here. Here are some examples. Up top we said a horse, one horse, runs quickly. But now if we have lots of them, it's just the horses run quickly. If I'm talking about lots of people, I would say that we are happy. And you could choose any verb that you want to use here, and you would just say, I eat pizza, or I love pizza. Maybe you don't like pizza, so you would say, I dislike pizza. But regardless, we did not add any endings, just like we mentioned right here. For our last tab that we're going to fill out, we're going to talk about collective nouns. Remember, collective noun is when we were talking about a group of something. I use the example with my class, a blessing of unicorns is called the name for the group. A class of students. You could have a team of players. A collective noun is actually singular if you're talking to the group acting as a whole. For example, my class plays at recess. Since it was singular there, I would add an S to the end of play. The team walks in together. The team is acting as a singular noun, so we add an S to walk. Now, a collective noun is plural, but only if it refers to members of the group acting individually. So if I were talking about the team, but I was talking about all of them as individual people, I don't add an S here. The team argue amongst themselves. So we have a bunch of different ways. Now, I'm going to actually make you go backwards a minute. And what I'd like for you to do is I'm going to show you where these go, but you're actually going to write the words at the bottom of this page right here. You're going to write or cut these words out and glue them on the back side of each of these flaps. Okay? So in your journal, you'll cut these out and glue them there. You can also see the directions up here at the top tell you what to do with them. But what I'm going to do right now is show you where each of them go. The subjects or the verbs that you need to match together, I'm going to show you how it would go. Here are our singular subjects. We should have am, sings, dances, fills, and is. Am, sings, dances, fills, and is. Now I'm wondering if you can make an observation why I did that. In our journal page, you should have realized that we need to add an S or ES if it's singular. These words, sings, dances, fills, those end in an S. We also said that the words is and am have to do with being singular. Cut and glue those on the back of the singular flap. Now for the plural flap, you're going to put the following, okay? The rest of these should be plural. Are, eat, trip, flap, spill, and mash. If we look at our rules that we have for plural subjects, we do not need any endings on the words, and we also use the word are as our form of be. Now, there's a lot of information on these journal pages. So whatever you did not maybe get a chance to slow down and follow along with, I want you to go back and just pause wherever you need to spend a little bit more time. Make sure that you cut and glue this journal page exactly like the directions told you right here. It gives specific directions how to glue this into your language interactive.